It's our reality, just your average family trying to be normal and stay out of trouble, living a double life.
What's up? Today we got Thunderman's Season 2, Episode 18, Mall Time Crooks. This episode starts off with Hank with bagpipes. Max says, "Excuse me, ma'am, you're in the wrong house." I love Max. See, I told you, show. I told you, if you just bring back what... I told Joe, if you just bring back Max's greatness, like in last episode, I couldn't not say I love you, Max, because there was no funny comeback from Max in an episode. But this episode starts off with one. So, good on the writers for realizing they missed out on last time. Hank says, "Ha ha," and Barb says that Barb suggests he treat himself for his birthday. Wow, the second birthday in 2 seasons. Next season we'd have Barb's birthday in season 3. Then I don't think we have any other birthday. But I think there's one off screen, but in season 4, but other than that, I think Hank and Barb's are the only two Thunderman birthdays that we actually see on screen. Yeah. Nora says, "So he bought himself a skirt." Barb says, "Is Hank's going to play a round of golf in Scotland, and the kilt is a traditional dress." Phoebe says, "Traditionally, Hank should have shaved his legs before he wears a dress." Barb says, "I think what the kids mean to say is happy birthday, Hank." Hank says, "It means so much to him that the Barb made him say that." Hank says that he better get going so he doesn't miss his tea time and he flies to Scotland. Billy says, "Man skirt, nobody look up." After the opening, at their house, Barb says Hank will be gone all day. Time for them to set up the perfect party and make up for 2014, where Hank got sent to the hospital. Billy says Barb in the flashback says that she didn't know that fish were that bad, or something about the fish, and Billy says something was wrong with the fish, which caused Hank to go to the hospital, and Barb says she was sorry, and Billy in the present says now he wants fish sticks. Phoebe says, Don't worry. She and Max want to do their part. Max says Hank deserves one birthday that doesn't end up with him on a stretcher. And Barb says Billy, Nora will handle the cake and gift wrapping and decoration. Billy says something, and then Nora says balloons, and then balloons. And then Billy and speeds away. Barb says all he needs from Phoebe and Max is to pick up Hank's birthday watch, Hank's watch from the mall. Phoebe says that's it, and Max says, "Zip it, Phoebe. They got 3 things to do. We only got 1." Again, I love Max. Barb tells him not to get distracted at the mall and to be home as soon as they can, and remember it's a surprise party. Billy says surprise, and Max says whose turn is it to explain things to Billy. Barb points to a weekly thing on the chalkboard that says, Friday it's Nora's turn. Mondays it's Hank and Barb. Mondays and Tuesdays it's Hank and Barb. Wednesdays and Thursdays it's Hank. It's Phoebe and Max, and then on Fridays it's Nora, and then on Saturday and Sundays it's Hank and Barb again. So that's kind of funny that literally they have a counter for who to explain stuff to, when they need to explain when Billy doesn't understand something and they have to go and tell him what it really means. Nora says she'll be back in a few hours, which means that taking Billy explaining stuff to Billy must really take a long time. Yeah. Meanwhile, at the Hiddenville Mall, Phoebe says that's what that woman's perfume. That was woman's perfume that girl sprayed Max with. Max says, yeah. For a second, he realized that Phoebe says, at least they got Hank's watch. Max says, with time to spare, which is why he called Oyster. Oyster shows up, and Oyster says, Max smells like his Nana. Max says, well, his Nana. Well, then his Nana must smell great. And Phoebe says, can't believe Max called Oyster. Barb wanted them home as soon as possible. Ashley shows up, saying she got Phoebe's text. And Max looks at her being like, dude, you're reprimanding me about calling Oyster, but you brought your friend. And Phoebe says, texting is like calling. Besides, she and Ashley know how to navigate the mall. Guys get so distracted by the littlest thing. Then Max and Oyster say, ear blasters. Oyster says they're the most awesomest headphones ever. And Max says they have 18 micro speakers that use their eardrum as a literal drum. 10 out of 10 doctors recommend you should not buy them. Which again, you should listen to your doctors. Max says ear blasters are impossible to find, but they're here. They are only $80, and Phoebe gives Max half an hour. Phoebe says, fine, Max, only half an hour to take a look at these ear blasters, as she and Ashley, as they can't be late for Hank's party. Phoebe leaves, and Oyster says Max says he can't wait to hear the wait. Max says he can't wait to wear the ear blasters, so he doesn't have to listen to what Phoebe says. Again, I love Max. And can some people please watch these videos and count how many times I've said love Max in these videos so far, because I know I said them a lot, but I can't count how many times I've said I love Max so much in these videos. But can someone please watch all my videos of this series so far and count how many times I say I love Max? Because, yeah. Meanwhile, Phoebe tells Ashley that they only have 2 stores, the food court and the carousel. Ashley says, carousel? And Phoebe says she was only kidding. Only if Ashley wants to. Then Phoebe sees Madison and is like, oh great, Madison's here. That spoiled snob is so fake. But they decide to say hi, Madison, and in like a hi, Madison, hi, girls, type of thing, like where it's like, yeah, they kind of don't like each other, but they kind of get along. It's like hate watching. It's like they hate each other, but they get along somewhat. Madison asks Phoebe asks Madison if she's wearing a Seraphim handbag. She didn't know they opened up a store. And Madison says, oh, sweetie, of course you didn't. It's very high class. And Phoebe's very gym class. And the way that Madison's actress just smiles makes me think that she just doesn't want to be on this show anymore. I know it's meant to be her being a catty, mean girl to Phoebe and Ashley, but the way she just smiles shows, yeah, she doesn't want to be on this show anymore. And her actress was also on Mighty Men on Disney XD, so her actress was on Nickelodeon and Disney XD. Yeah. Yeah, she says Phoebe's more high class, gym class, and she says the damn dungeon is having a sale, and she leaves. Phoebe says they know where they're going. Phoebe says Seraphim, but Ashley thought she was going to say the carousel. Then Phoebe tells Ashley that they have to go to Seraphim and prove to Madison that they're just as good as she is. Then she says they'll go to. Phoebe says carousel, and Ashley says Then they'll go to, Phoebe says carousel, and Ashley says denim dungeon. Then Phoebe says she and Ashley have to get on the same page. Meanwhile, back at the Thunder House, Billy says he's hung up a banner and it's not upside down. Nora says good boy and says here's a treat. But Barb says, Nora, I told you this a million times. Billy is not a dog. But Billy then scratches his ears and pants like a dog because this joke was not funny. It was not. It's just that her saying she's not a dog and then Billy proves that he kind of is like one. That's it. That's the entire joke. What was the point of that? Barb said they did a great job, and at this rate, they'll be done before Hank gets home. Yeah, there's been a lot of jokes where literally, just like with episode 14, they say something, then it happens. Like Barb says, like Hank says, oh, they'll be able to stop before Barb gets home. Then Barb gets home. And now Barb's saying it, they'll be able to stop the part before Hank gets home. And now, then the thunderman alerts them to Hank gets home. It's really weird that they're just doing oh hey, Barb says something, but then the opposite happens. But then the opposite of what she says happens. Like, why are they doing this joke? Like, this joke isn't not funny. It's just like, oh, she said Hank was not home. They could do it before Hank gets home, but then Hank happens to get home. Ha ha ha, laugh. It's very predictable that they do that. But anyway, of course, Thunder Monitor alerts them that Hank is home. Barb tells them to get so they hide the decorations, and Barb throws the cake down the ladder. It falls on Colosso. Colosso is only in the show, only in this episode through voice only dialogue. He doesn't appear at all. I don't know why they only had Dana Schneider appear on this show through dialogue, but he off-screen voice dialogue. But yeah. And apparently, Barb throws the cake down to Max's lair, and it somehow bounces on Max's bed off screen and hits Colosso off screen because Colosso says, I'm covered in cake. But then he realizes, oh, I'm covered in cake. That's all Colosso contributes. What a waste of a character. What a waste of a line like his if he's not going to do anything. Why even have Colosso in the episode if he's not that... Why have Dan Schneider record lines as Colosso if he's not going to have a plot? All he says is he likes cake, and then we never hear from Colosso again. What was the point? What was the point if Colosso's not actually going to do something in the episode? Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So Hank says that Hank comes in and says that they closed the golf course due to bad weather. And on the way home, he was struck by lightning twice. Billy says he thought lightning didn't strike twice. And then Nora says, "Look at Hank's butt." And then they show that there's 2 lightning strike holes in his pants. Ha, funny. But anyway. Hank says Barb says Hank can't sit down. After a lightning strike, the last place is to be inside. Hank says where there could be lightning, where there isn't lightning. Then Barb electrifies the TV and makes Hank think he did it to get him out of the house. Because, okay. Yeah, then he says it's not safe for the kids, but then she electrifies it to make it think he did it. So, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So Barb says that she get him outside until the electricity leaves his body. And she quietly tells Billy Nora to put back on the decorations. And Billy does, but he picks the Christmas ones. Yep. Funny. Anyway, meanwhile, at the mall, Max says one more dollar and those two blasters are his. Max wonders why the thing isn't taking his last dollar, and Oyster says because his face is on it. And Max says, "Oh, it's a Max buck. I wonder why it's never catched on." And Oyster says maybe because there's a bunny on the back, basically meaning that Max put his face on the front and Klaus's face on the back. Max asks Oyster to spot on a real dollar, but Oyster says he can't. He threw all of his money in the pond, and he wished Max could get those headphones, but he says, "Oh, you just told Max." So he just told Max. That means Max is not gonna get them. So Max decides to sneakily take the money before stealing candy from a baby because, I don't know, bad guyness. And he tells the baby to shush as he takes it. Meanwhile, at Seraphine, Ashley tells Phoebe that they can't afford anything in the store. A normal looking sock is like $300. Which is impossible, but Phoebe says she's not going to buy anything. They're just going to try on nice clothes and hide the tags and then take selfies. As she says, then they'll post their glam pics and prove to Madison that she was wrong about them, even though Ashley's worn her stuff to gym class. Then the store owner shows up, who is played by that one guy from Smallville, and that guy that was in prison with Lon Luthor in season 4 of Smallville, and takes their clothes. So and takes their clothes, saying that the denim dungeon is the other way. So Ashley says that's rude. They don't know him, and Phoebe's like they don't. So they say he doesn't. So they decide to basically just pretend to be royal, speaking British accents, and pretend to be royalty, so this guy can get them whatever they want. And they take back their clothes, but Phoebe leaves her phone, not realizing that Barb is calling her. So, and it's kind of funny, the picture that she has for Barb. Meanwhile, Barb says that she sent 2 teenagers to the mall. What was she thinking? And then she sent 2 kids, i.e. Billy and Nora, to bake a cake. What was she thinking? Then Hank calls for Barb, and Hank says he can no longer... He can only how much longer does he have to stand in these tires? He looks ridiculous. Barb says the rubber is canceling out the electricity current in his body. Hank says yeah, but Barb says take it from Electra. Electro charges are no laughing matter. Hank says, isn't that one of your old safe commercials back in Metroburg? Then we get a running gag of this ad where Electra says, take it from Electra. Take it from Electra. Electrical charges are no laughing matter. Use your dome to protect your home. Yeah, this becomes a running joke throughout the entire episode. I wish that we could just get a whole compilation of these, because these were my favorites of the episode. Just, they knew I liked the first one, so like, yeah, let's keep going with the showing Barb's old Electress ads. And yeah, it's also proven like later in the series that Barb also had her own medical TV show. So maybe that's where these came from. Electress had her own medical TV show. So maybe that's where these came from. The medical TV show that Barb used to do. Can't believe Barb used to have her own Barb says in universe that she has a TV show when she's in a TV show like this. Yeah. Yeah. That ends, and Barb says, stay there until Max and Phoebe get back. Hank tries to follow her, but ends up falling over and rolling away. And Billy says something, and Barb runs after Hank. Meanwhile, at the mall, Max is taking money from the pond, while Oyster is guarding the ear blasters for Max. But he gets overrun by people. When a kid asks Max if he's stealing money, Max says, no, he's the wish fairy. This kid comes back, by the way. Don't forget him. But anyway, he's just collecting money to take it back to the Wishville. The kid gives Max money, but the security guard stops Max. So the kid kicks the security guard so Max can get away, but then that same security guard is on the other side. Upon so Max runs over, but then the security guard from before is on the back to where he was originally, and Max asks him how he keeps doing this, and the security guard says it's not a very big pond. Max gets obviously arrested and captured. Meanwhile, at Seraphine, the owner is giving Phoebe and Ashley all the scones and stuff because of their royalty. So they decide to take fancy pictures with their fancy foods, and Ashley says, "What's a scone?" And Phoebe says, "Who cares? Even as long as Madison sees them eating it." And Phoebe hears Max saying, "Let me go. You're not a real cop." And says, "What now?" And decides to see what's going on. Yeah, and Phoebe asks, "What did Max do?" Then the store owner comes out and says, "Phoebe's a thief." Max says, "What did you do, Phoebe?" And the owner says, "Phoebe stole a Seraphine vest." Phoebe says, "No, she was just going to check on her brother, on Max." And the store owner says, Max also seems to be in the family business of stealing. So Phoebe says Hank's watch is still in the store. And the store owner says, "Did she lose the watch like she lost her accent?" Which is kind of, yeah. The security guard escorts both of them out of the store. And Madison says, "Oh my god, Phoebe, selfie shoplift much?" And takes a photo of them and then leaves. And then that's all we see of Madison in the episode. What was the point of that? I guess it was just so Madison's going to take this picture of Phoebe and post it all over the internet for the whole world to see, saying that Phoebe Thunderman is shoplifting, but that's all she does, and she'll probably come back. I'll have to check if she comes back, but anyway, she'll probably come back. But anyway. So the security guard says that Phoebe and Max are banned from the mall for life. Max says, "You can't do that." So then he kicks them out and says, Phoebe says, "Yeah." And Phoebe says, "Can't believe he did that." Then Phoebe says they can't go home empty-handed and ruin Hank's birthday again. Do you think Barb will gonna be mad? Then Hank calls Barb, and where Barb's asking, "Where are they? They're supposed to be home an hour ago." Max says they know they're late. He told Phoebe, but Barb says, "Get back to the house." "No kidding, get back." And Max says they know they're late. Yeah, Max says they'll be there, but Phoebe has to do one thing. Barb says no one thing and tell Phoebe to, but Max hangs up before Barb can finish yelling at them. And Max says, "She's mad at you, Phoebe." Phoebe asks Ashley if she found Hank's watch at Seraphine. Ashley says no, but she looked everywhere and what else she can do. She's all theirs until her mom gets there. Then Ashley's mom gets there, and then when Ashley leaves to never be on the show again. Yeah, at least just like with Angus in the last episode where he disappeared, Ashley kind of had a good role, and she was kind of a funny character. I don't know why. Her actress would later go on to be on good shows like Dr. Canyon, Last Man Standing. Yeah, both those shows, she was there until the end of both shows, which is kind of funny. Which is kind of cool that her actress was there she was there until the end of Dr. Canyon, and she was there for the end of Last Man Standing with Tim Allen. You need to watch those shows. Hopefully her actress is good, because she was funny in this, even though this is weirdly her last appearance. I think she only had 2 appearances. I know that Tyler disappears after this season, so meh. Yeah. Yeah, and we never see Ashley again. So Phoebe says Ashley leaves to never be seen again, and Phoebe says they gotta get back inside and get Hank's watch. Phoebe said, Max says, "You think we're not what he's thinking?" And Phoebe says, "She's never thinking what he's thinking." Meanwhile, meanwhile at Thunder House, Nora says it took 2 hours to make a cake that Hank's gonna eat in 2 seconds. Nora sees Barb pumping Hank's tire shield or tire suit or whatever it is, and Nora says it looks like they're gonna have to wrap their gift. Billy speeds to do it and says he no longer regrets gift wrapping camp. Nora says she's gonna make Billy regret it. As we see Billy wrap gift Nora, Billy also wrapped Nora with gift wrap, and then she busts out of it. Billy says the camp warned him there'd be haters as he runs away, as of course Nora lasers him. Yep. Can't wait for season 3 Nora, where Nora's more a gentler, nicer person. Cause I'm kind of getting tired of this joke of like every time Nora gets angry she lasers someone. At least next season we'll get a nicer version of the character. Because this is kind of getting pretty much old. I'm glad they're making Nora a nicer, kinder character next season. But anyway, meanwhile at the mall, Max and Phoebe sneak in his trash can. And Max says, Phoebe says, "You're supposed to be an evil genius, and this is the best you got." Max says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Is she giving him two outside or inside the mall?" And Max says, "Oh no, Oyster's in trouble." And Phoebe says, "Forget him, Max. They gotta find it. Hank's watch." Phoebe, you used to date that guy, and you were gonna join his band. I think you'd be more careful I think you'd be more kind to what happens to Oyster. Yeah, she joined his band for like a second off screen, and then also dated him for almost had a crush on him. But now she's telling Max that he should forget about him. I guess I'm also glad they stopped doing the Oyster guitar thing. Like, that's the one thing I'm glad they stopped the Oyster's character. His whole obsession with guitars. He actually is a nice guy now. But yeah. So then Oyster licks a screen so one kid can't touch it, and he gets the flu, and I guess he gets sick because he says it tastes like the flu, and Phoebe says he's got it. Phoebe says Oyster's got it. See, Max, Oyster's got it, and Max says Oyster's got something. So I'm guessing Oyster gets sick off screen. The store owner shows up and takes Hank's watch and goes for a massage. Meanwhile, outside, Hank says he has to use the bathroom. Somehow he got out of the tire thing. And Barb says, "Remember, if you charge your electro situation, you might be shocked by what happened." Hank says, "Really, Barb? More safety commercials?" And again, we see an ad of Electra saying, "Take it from Electra. If you charge into an electrical situation, you might be shocked at what happens." And that's what's up. That's what's up. So the ad ends. Hank says he doesn't have to charge, and he doesn't have to charge in him, but he does have plenty of water, and it wants out. Then two people show up, but Barb signals them to not that it's not the right time, so they leave. Hank asks what's wrong with her neck, and Barb says, "Yeah, someone in tires rolled her over, and when she was trying to save." Barb lets Billy and Nora out of the house and tells them to blindfold Hank and let him throw at a piano that definitely does exist. Hank swings a pretend piano while two people from earlier enter the house. Barb can't believe Max and Phoebe aren't back with Hank's gifts yet. His party's going to be ruined again as Hank continues to swing at a pretend pinata. Meanwhile, at the mall, Phoebe says they have to get rid of the masseuse. So Phoebe says she has this long plan, but Max's like, "Oh, we could do this." And he takes his telekinesis. He uses his telekinesis to take the guy's money away, so the masseuse will run after it. And then Max starts massaging store owner guy, while he's basically talking about Phoebe. Then Phoebe takes over and starts karate chopping him. Well, then money falls out of his pocket. Max says, quarters, ear blasters, here he comes. Phoebe tells Max to focus. Then this causes store clerk guy to realize that his masseuse isn't really masseusing him, and that's Phoebe. Phoebe says, it's time. You stole from her dad, and she wants it back. And Phoebe says, ear blasters. Phoebe says, Max, the watch. And Max says, Phoebe, ear blasters. And then Phoebe says, the watch is more important than the ear blasters, Max. Yeah. So Max uses telekinesis to make the store owner slap himself. Then the store owner gets himself free but falls into the pond. Yeah, he's actually a store assistant, not the store owner, but I'm just going to keep calling him the store owner because we never meet the store owner. But we all know he's from Smallville. But anyway. The kid from, so he says he's a store assistant at Seraphim. He doesn't deserve this. Phoebe says, but he does deserve this. And you deserve telekinesis to make him slap himself. And he falls into, and then makes him slip. Then they're walking away as the kid from earlier says, thanks, Max, for the kid from earlier who, I told you to remember him. He says, thanks, Max, because he got what he says, thanks, Wish Fairy. You gave me what I really wanted. Ear blasters. And this leaves Max shocked that that only one person was able to get them, and not him. So, Phoebe says they still have to make it to Hank's birthday. Max asks where Oyster is. Phoebe says he must have given up and gone home. They leave as we see Oyster got put into the ear blaster's display case, calling out for Phoebe and Max, but they can't hear him because it's all muffled screaming. And that's the last we see of Oyster in the episode, so we don't know his fate. He probably got out, someone off screen probably went out and got him out of there, or Max found out he didn't, or Max went back to that mall and helped him out, or Gideon, or Angus, but we know Angus is gone by the next time Max and Band is together, but still, we don't know how Oyster actually does get out of that thing. But meanwhile, at night, Hank is swinging, but then takes off Hank takes off his blindfold to see no pinata, and then there's lightning coming. Barb leaves a message for Phoebe and Max, saying about how literally being late would be Max's thing, but not Phoebe's. But then he sees them show up. So now Hank shows up when he uses the bathroom, but then they say surprise. They invaded Hank's favorite food Nora says they invited all his favorite people, which are everyone from his favorite restaurant. Which weirdly, we see a Splatburger employee here holding up a Mrs. Wong's Pizza Palace sign. Maybe that's foreshadowing. I know that eventually something happens with the Splatburger and Mrs. Wong, but if you didn't know that, why would the Splatburger employee be holding up a Mrs. Wong's Pizza Palace pizza box? Why? That makes no sense. Yeah. I still don't understand that. Yeah, Sophie and Max give him his new watch, and he says that he's going to use it after he uses the bathroom, but Barb tells him someone's in there, so Hank decides to go to this gas station, but then he's struck by lightning. So Hank gets stretched away to the hospital, and Barb says sorry because she had no idea that the watch would be a superconductor for electricity. They say happy birthday as kind of the episode ends, but that's not where the episode ends. Barb thinks about, for some reason, just looks up and starts thinking about her old electric commercials, and that's basically how the episode ends. with Electra saying, take it from Electra. Cramming too many plugs into the socket isn't cool. So fight the urge and get a surge protector. Then we see another ad of Electra saying, take it from Electra. Before leaving the home, make sure you turn off the light because wasting electricity mega hurts us all. And that's how the episode ends. And by the way, this is the final appearance of Ashley. We never see her again, and she's never even mentioned ever again. So yeah, that was this video. It was good. I kind of like the Electra stuff. I think this is the only time we ever see Hinville High Mall. But you know me, I do love a new location, even though it's the only time we see this location, but it was new location time. New location time. But the only time that we saw this location ever, I think. But still, you know. Hey girl. Find a man just like how I love. Find a man just like how I love. Women, find a man like how I love new locations. Because I love new locations. I do. I just love them in my shows. But anyway, that's it for this video. And next time we get to see Phoebe try and fail to bring Max and Link together. Yeah, it's another Link episode because they know that how much we like the guy. Yeah, Phoebe tries and fails to try to bring Max and Link together. But it backfires on her when Link starts spending more time with Max than with her. So, we'll see what happens next time with that whole episode. And we never see how Hank got out of the hospital. But anyway, that's it for this video. And take it from Beckham Reviews and React. Always watch my video. And if you don't, it mega hurts us all. I'll see you next time. If you take it from Beckham Reviews and Reacts, watch my video and like and subscribe. But if you don't, it mega hurts us all. I'll see you next time. And also, take it from Electris. What do you have to say right now, Electris?
Take it from Electris. Cramming too many plugs into a socket isn't cool. So fight that urge and get a surge protector.